Da da da. Egotastic FunTime. Hey gang, I'm JP and welcome back to Talking The Orville on Egotastic FunTime. Today we're gonna have a horrible time talking about the latest episode because Alara's gone. Hey gang, I just watched the latest episode of the Orville Season 2, Episode 3, Home. And I wanted to give you my first impressions before I start working once I get away from work here. Once I get away from work, I'll start working on the review, which I'll hopefully have out this weekend. I'm sure I'll have it out this weekend, or at least week beginning next week, Monday. But Sunday's the goal. And, God, what an episode. What did you guys think? This, of course, I've been saying Alara's been going home for a year now, but it was all my opinion by clues that I put together. I knew she was gone because of all the stuff I compiled, but it was my opinion that I supported with evidence. And a lot of people were like, hey, why didn't you put spoiler alert in your live show last night? Because there was no spoilers. Opinions aren't facts. Opinions aren't spoilers. It just happens to be that my opinions come true 100% of the time. But not really. I get stuff wrong too, but just little stuff. But anyway, this by far Home was probably the best episode of the Orville of its entire series, at least in the top 3. I mean, it was incredible. Maybe top 2, maybe top 1. And people are absolutely in love. The Orville and Alara were trending on Twitter last night. That's how well this episode is doing. It's a big hit. It's all over the place. The first 2 episodes, Xelaya and Primal Urges, which many of us love, I adore, were great, but they weren't that boom, wow, oh God, this is what I've been waiting for episodes, right? Home is by far everything an Orville fan, everything a Star Trek fan would ever want in either one of those franchises. Incredible guest stars, incredible performances by Robert Picardo, Molly Hagan, John Billingsley, and, oh God, what's her name? I wrote it down. Kelly O'Malley, who played Florata. Great stuff. Very interesting episode. How cool was it to have Robert Picardo and John Billingsley on screen together? Doctor, 2 doctors. Star Trek doctors, Dr. Phlox and Dr. Dr. Zimmerman, or EMH. What is the nature of your culinary emergency? I couldn't believe that John Billingsley's character, Canvas, was so freaky deaky all of a sudden. I almost had a nightmare. Almost. But I took power over my own mind and said, no, this will not be a nightmare that I'm having tonight about the Orville and John Billingsley. Dr. Phlox trying to put my hand in some boiling hot soup. I turned it around and had, a sweet time with Solana in my dreams. No, it was an amazing episode. It all started off with the arm wrestling scene that we've been waiting for from the Season 2 trailers, where I predicted, I bet you Alara loses and maybe she breaks her arm or something like that. I predicted that many months ago. And that's when we find out she's losing her strength. That's exactly what happened. A fun scene. I'll go into depth in the full review, of course, because there was a lot of stuff going on in that scene that I want to point out. Just cool nerd stuff, as well as questions like, what was everybody betting on? They don't use money. So when everybody was betting on who would win the arm wrestling match, what are they betting? We'll talk about that later. So we learned that Alara was losing her strength, and that she has to go home to recuperate. We don't know how long she's going to have to recuperate. And what was another great thing about this episode, that of course it was Alara-centric. Sorry about the shaky cam. I'm doing this gorilla style in my car during my lunch break, okay? This isn't carpool karaoke. A very Alara-centric, very Xelaya-centric episode. The ship, the crew had very little to do with it. So it was really nice to, in this show, go to another planet with people that are from that planet, experience, their lives, which Xelaya seems amazing. Like, everybody seems to live in the Hollywood Hills and have a wonderful life on Xelaya. Beach houses, whatnot. The Catons had the biggest house on the hill. Did you guys notice? So Lara goes home. She has problems with her parents that we know. They don't quite believe in her. They mentioned that, and they mentioned this before last season in Firestorm, but it just kind of glossed over it. But it came up again in this episode. Ildis said that Alara has mental deficiencies. What's up with that? I don't know what that means. Alara doesn't have mental deficiencies. Our Selane's so incredibly... Let's move around over here, shall we? I just can't get the right angles for my awesome fat face. Does Alara have mental deficiencies? I'm not aware of that. She seems pretty smart, normal to me, and the other Selanes don't seem extra smart. So I have no idea what that's about. So they didn't quite lift her up when she was growing up, and that was the reason she left. She didn't really feel like she had... That's why she left home originally, was she didn't feel she had a connection. So in this episode, with all the stuff going on, the hostage situation, Alara proved herself, another thing I predicted, and got that connection. She made her father see that there is something with her that is worth his love, which of course, just being his daughter should be enough. But he showed that he had remorse for the way he's been acting her entire life. And God, what an incredible performance from Robert Picardo. I don't think, we love him from Voyager. He had some amazing performances, but I don't think I've ever seen him do anything this heartfelt. He was crying, which kind of made me start to cry. And you could really feel the remorse he had, and he apologized that she had to have him as a father. And wow, what a really great turnaround. And what an amazing performance turned in by Mr. Robert Picardo. I didn't know you had it in you, though. I knew you had some goodness in you. I didn't know it got this good, Mr. Picardo. And it was a heartfelt moment. And then, of course, I don't want to go too in-depth into the episode because I'm going to do that in the review. The ending. When, Alara lost her strength. We don't know when she's going to get it back. She's on the planet Xelaya. She can't handle the gravity, so she's in a wheelchair the entire time. We don't know what the fix is going to be. But actually, she returns to the ship. They have a solution. And we're like, whoa, Alara might not be leaving the show. They have a solution. They can fix her. They have the technology. And she says, no, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go home and rebuild my relationship with my family that I've been missing my whole life. So they had the fix. They had the fix, and she turned it down. She's gone, which means when Tala shows up, this is never going to be an issue again. Tala she can do the gravity treatment in the environmental simulator from now on. So we're never going to have this issue again. And that moment at the end when Alara gave Ed that box, that going away gift, I was like, what the hell is in there? What the hell is in there? And we had the big goodbye. Now, you notice in the goodbye scene at the end, they really took their time with it, which now that the episodes are longer, this season, they were allowed to take their time with it, and I'm so glad they did. There was no dialogue. It was a goodbye, had the wonderful music, everyone hugging her, looking at each other, watching her fly away. It was the perfect goodbye. But then when Ed opens the gift, I'm like, okay, what is it? They pan down. It's a jar of pickles. That clinched it. Teardrop. Quality feels coming at my face from the Orville. Is my nose running? It kind of feels like it is. So this episode was amazing. I want to know what you guys thought about it. Being on Xelaya was incredible. That horse thing, that magical horse. Xelayans are pixies, okay? They're super powered pixies. And I thought it was also really cool like the gravity issues. It got crazy when Ed, his gravity suit was failing. All of a sudden, his bones started getting crushed. I had no idea. Like, I knew Xelaya, as we all know, Xelaya had incredible, really heavy gravity. I didn't think it would break your bones. I thought it would just, like, hold you down or something. You'd be like, oh, God, this is like, trying to walk in a swimming pool or something like that. I had no idea it was going to be like break your bones, crush like a grape, to quote Alara, type situation. So it was pretty damn tense. I was like, oh, God, what if it crushes his skull? So again, an amazing episode. I got some notes here. I'm just passing over all of it. Jar of Pickles. So will Alara return? They left the doors open. She can pop up, maybe, a guest appearance this season. I know for a fact she's not back permanently. But you never know. Next season, possibly. I hope she returns for the finale in the very least. Maybe they check in with her once in a while. We haven't met Tala yet. I didn't know for sure if we were going to meet her in tonight's episode or last night's episode. We did not. But I do know that we're going to be seeing her at least 2 weeks from now in the First Contact episode that's coming up. So anyway, an amazing episode. Let me know what you guys think. Sad. So sorry to leave you, Alara. It's really hard to say goodbye. And I'll take with me the memories to bring back the time after the rain. Because Alara is said goodbye to the Orville. We'll miss you, Alara. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today, and I talked about it. What did you think of the episode? How did Robert Picardo touch your heart? How did Alara touch your heart through the entire series? What do you have to say to Halston Sage about how you feel about her? Do you care? You probably do care. I care. And you can let me know what you think by joining the conversation below. And thank you all so much for tuning into my show, supporting it, liking it, tipping my tip jar, which is, the link is right down there, which the more that tip jar gets filled up, the more I don't have to go here anymore, and I could just tune in. You guys can tune into Egotastic FunTime, Talking The Orville 5 days a week, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff someday when that happens, hopefully maybe later in the year. And as always, I hope all your times are egotastic fun times. Love you. Bye-bye.